In the past 3 years, KElectric has made profits of 10.4 billion rupees in 2017, 12.3 billion rupees in 2018, and 8.8 billion rupees in 2019. But while KElectric is proficient at delivering healthy profit margins to its ownership, when it comes to its customers, it's a whole other story. On paper, KElectric has a total capacity of 3,479 megawatts, which far outstrips the peak demand of roughly 3,000 megawatts in the summer. In reality, though, power outages are a daily fact of life in many areas of Karachi. The past few weeks have been particularly brutal, with some areas of Karachi suffering power outages for up to 12 to 15 hours a day. In response, KElectric has pointed fingers at the government for unavailability of furnace oil and the SUI Southern Gas Company for reducing its supply of gas. Even as SSGC has denied the claim, and in fact says it has temporarily increased its gas supply to KElectric, even though KE allegedly owes the utility 96 billion rupees in unpaid dues. Residents of Karachi will be familiar with these excuses. Last summer's frequent load shedding was also blamed on low gas pressure. While power outages in the summer of 2018 saw KElectric again roll out the line that a gas shortfall was responsible. At the heart of the dispute lies the issue that KElectric does not have a formal gas supply agreement with its biggest supplier, SSGC. KElectric alleges that SSGC is reluctant to sign such a deal, but the utility still retains the option of using RLNG in case of shortfall. The annual blame game with SSGC points at a bigger question. How is KElectric able to set record profits every year and yet is unable to plan ahead to avert power outages every summer, despite knowing full well that demand for power will be higher?
This issue of KElectric has been going on since it was privatized in 2005. The privatization agreement was very clear that KElectric had to spend a huge amount of money in strengthening the infrastructure, which means the transmission and distribution systems, which they did partially, yes, but not as much as they had committed. So when you have a frail system of transmission and distribution, the obvious result is breakdowns, load shedding, and electrocution deaths. During this last Ramadan, there was massive load shedding in industries as well. And even today, there's a regular load shedding after midnight up to 8 a.m. This is just not understandable.
KElectric's poor distribution system is an open secret, with various institutions ranging from the Karachi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, PTI Sindh, and the country's power regulator NEPRA asking it to improve its infrastructure. In an investigative report published in 2019, NEPRA found that 19 of the 24 electrocution deaths reported during the monsoon season last year in Karachi were due to KElectric's negligent practices. These negligent practices include lack of earthing of low-tension and high-tension poles and current leakages from distribution facilities. It imposed a fine of 50 million rupees, peanuts compared to KElectric's annual profits, and recommended that KElectric fully earth and ground its distribution system by April, as well as conduct a third-party audit. While KElectric initially responded by deflecting blame onto illegal kundas, unauthorized use of power infrastructure by cable TV and internet service providers, and standing water, 6 months later it submitted a compliance report claiming that it had fixed 90% of all electricity poles, with the rest due to be fixed by July 31st. Despite that, 6 people died of electrocution in the most recent rains. While KElectric has again absolved itself of any responsibility, only an independent review will be able to verify these claims. While this blame game continues, more than 70 people have died due to electrocution in Karachi since 2014. The list of criticisms against KElectric is a long one. From collectively punishing entire neighborhoods with power outages for the failure of some to pay their bills, to denying time of use billing to consumers, a practice which means cheaper off-peak rates for electricity consumption for 20 hours of the day. Despite the government of Pakistan mandating time of use billing since at least 2016, and other distributors such as Lesco providing the service to their customers since at least 2012, KElectric refused to do so until the determination of new tariffs in late 2019. A convenient excuse to charge customer peak rate hours all 24 hours of the day and make up to 30% more revenue for several years. It is no surprise then that in the last 7 years, NEPRA has received 2,344 complaints about KElectric, nearly 3 times more than any other power utility. Despite all of this, Karachi's residents remain beholden to KElectric as it is Karachi's only source of electricity. So is there any way to gain respite from KElectric in the future?
There is a way forward, which is introducing the concept of wheeling. Wheeling is a concept which was some time back introduced in Mumbai when there was a state monopoly and 2 private sector companies were allowed to come into the power supply and distribution system over there. So the same thing can be done in Karachi, so that then the customer has an option of getting services from 2 or 3 other companies. And that would create a competitive environment, which will automatically solve quite a few of the problems that we are facing today in Karachi.